It's been 3 years. Amazing art progress with amazing artworks that I would call milestones. Maybe it's a change in composition, maybe it's a change in style, but these creations are like achievements that made me realize that I could make better things. But looking at all of these artworks, there's one thing that stands out. And it stands out because it unfortunately hasn't really been refined throughout the years. The clouds. I guess they're alright, but on the grand scheme of things, they look way worse than the rest of the artwork. I mean, one of my latest artworks shows some decent looking clouds, but come on. Most of the time, they're just lazy strokes that just clutter the sky. And some just look horrible. Yuck. So? Problem. Clouds look bad. How to fix it? Get good, son. How to get good? Well, we need to know what clouds look good and how we can make them good. And the 3 clouds that I'm interested in are the cirrus, cumulus, and cumulonimbus cloud. Well then, let's get going. Let's start simple. A cirrus cloud, specifically Cirrus uncunus. This cloud looks like a horse's tail, and it signifies potential precipitation, rain. It's simply a bunch of curved strokes stacked together, with some strokes jutting out of the curved end. Lighting? Almost non-existent. Just use plain white if it's a normal midday sky. Next, the cumulus cloud, the fair weather cloud. It looks like a heap of circles stacked together with a smooth bottom. Some parts would be more smooth and some would be more fluffy. The lighting? Quite hard. Basically, use references. Same with the cumulonimbus cloud. It's a more grandiose version of the cumulus cloud and it's used to signify a thunderstorm. It's basically a giant cumulus cloud with an anvil-shaped top. This is probably the hardest cloud to refine and add lighting to because of its shape and texture. Again, references are very much needed. So these are the 3 clouds that we're going to draw. Now let's just incorporate them into my artwork. The first thing we need is planning. The cumulonimbus cloud mainly occupies the right side of the artwork, and on the left side, there will be a bunch of cumulus clouds. Don't judge my sketching, because I promise you, they will look amazing once it has all the details. Now let's deal with the sky. Well, it's just going to be a basic, boring, blue sky. Hey, at least it's better than nothing. And also, that sun looks good. Alright, that's the sky done. Now let's go to the main point of this video. Let's incorporate some clouds. Good clouds into my artwork. And let's start with the cumulus clouds. So as you can see here, I am starting with the base. I'm just using the sketch as a guide to where the clouds would be, so the size and shape wouldn't be limited by the shape of the sketch. Using references helped me a lot to make that proper cloud shape, and it will definitely be necessary when I add the lighting and detail. After illustrating the base of the cumulus cloud, I quickly dealt with the big one. Looks like we have the clouds illustrated, so now it's time to detail and add lighting to them. This is the hardest part, but with references, it will definitely save me a lot of trouble. But I do need to accept that I am not an expert on cloud detail. I mean, I'm just starting to improve my clouds, so I'm not expecting them to be too refined, unlike other artists' illustrations. But at least it's a lot better than what I did last time, which is just a bunch of lazy strokes stacked together. Now, I forgot to tell you this, I'm just mentioning this if you're interested, But the brushes that I mainly use for making the clouds is the watercolor and G-pen. Watercolor because of its hazy and foggy look, and the G-pen because of its bumpy strokes. So I'm continuing with the cloud detail, slowly and steadily adding some details to improve the lighting. Then I realized, hey, the clouds are too small. So I made them larger. Now, about cloud detailing, it's very much advised to use references, especially if you're just starting to learn on how to detail them. We know that clouds, especially a cumulus cloud, is a bumpy, soft, and fluffy object. So light scattering is very noticeable. So lighting won't be smooth all the way around. Instead, there will be variations in lighting. Obviously, the bottom of the cloud is dark if the cloud is opaque enough. The organic shape will help add that lighting variety. But just remember, you can't master this overnight. You need to learn and illustrate this a bunch of times to get how these details work. I should probably make a video on how to make clouds. Now this cumulonimbus cloud, it wasn't really that hard. I just had to make sure that the lighting is accurate. I mean, illustrating this took a lot of time, but it was really fun. This is probably the hardest to master because it's large and it encompasses two parts. The bumpy cumulus bottom and the more smoother anvil top. But with practice, you could probably breeze through this. Let's just accept this mediocrity. And after a bit of fiddling around, here we have a grand cumulonimbus cloud. I probably have to refine it later, but for now, I need to deal with the rest of the landscape. Since this is a plains, let's add some plain elements. Grass is one thing, and with this paint tool brush, it helps with making the ground look more bushy. Those closer to us have more visible grass strands and flowers. Now, the sunlight is being blocked by these two clouds, and parts blocked by direct sunlight will be a little bit darker. Don't forget about those little details. I also added extra elements like lightning and rocks to spice things up. Now, this artwork looks good, but we probably need a good focus point. It should be obvious, familiar, and is a complement to the green grass. Well, I present to you, after more than an hour later, windmill with red sails. This genuinely took a lot of time to detail, and it mostly resembles the reference I use. I hope that's fine. It's probably fine. Just got to add this wheat field over here. And there we go. This cliff, that was a breeze. Not really. I suck at illustrating rocky textures. But I kept myself trying. Detailing these rocks, despite it being a task, it's worth it. Because in the end, we will have a piece of art. And there we have it! A complete artwork. Well, it still needs a bit of refinement. There we go! What a beauty! Look at the clouds. They actually look attractive and grand. Especially the cumulonimbus cloud. It looks like a storm is slowly creeping in this vast plain. Comparing them to my other artworks, you could see a massive change in cloud quality. Well, thankfully it's a good thing that I finally improved at something. Most of my clouds were relatively simple or lazily put together, and the end result normally look ugly or uninteresting. And it's nice to see me change that into something better. This freshly completed artwork is one example, and they complement well with the other elements of the artwork. So I guess it's a success? No, it's definitely a success. Now let's make sure that I don't downgrade them in my next artworks. Alright, thanks for watching. Go and do what you're meant to be doing.